tight stuff that we spent most of the morning looking at the back end of the field and then moving towards the front of the field. But Sarah, what do you make of this afternoon?
Yeah, look, we will have one final this afternoon, the women's quadruple scull, coming up a bit later, where actually one crew will miss out on Olympic qualification. So all of these A finals, all of the crews will qualify except for that women's quad. So that's going to be really a tough one.
So now we move into the A finals here today on the penultimate day of racing for the 2015 World Rowing Championships. It is the A final for the women's pair. Denmark, New Zealand, United States, Great Britain, South Africa and Canada. These crews will just be getting onto the starting blocks less than 2 minutes away from the start of this race. Now we have in lane one Hedvig, Rasmussen and Andersen of Denmark, bronze medalists in the women's pair at the Lucerne World Cup. New Zealand in two, Grace Prendergast and Kerry Gowler. They were gold medalists and world champions in the women's four at Amsterdam last year. Now find themselves in the pair for this season. Took a silver medal at Lucerne earlier in this year. Felice Mueller and Eleanor Logan of the USA are in lane three. Eleanor Logan, world champion in the women's 8 in Amsterdam last year. So really high caliber rowers here. Lane 4, Great Britain, Helen Glover and Heather Stanning, Olympic champions and unbeaten in the pair since these two have been rowing together. So they're the ones to watch here in this A final. South Africa are in lane 5, Nadine Smith and Lee-Ann Pers, 5th at the Lucerne World Cup earlier this year. They'll be very pleased to have made the A final here at the World Championships. And completing the field, Canada in lane 6, Jennifer Martins and Christy Nurse. 4th in the women's pair at Lucerne and 1st in the women's 8 at Lucerne. So they've had a hot season so far. And we are underway with the first A final here today at the 2015 World Rowing Championships. Good quick start across the field. It looks like Olympic champions Great Britain are just getting their nose ahead. Really fast start for them there. Off like lightning, striking 47 off the blocks, fastest boat on the water for that period.
And I saw Helen Glover's mum last night and she said that the girls are a little bit nervous today, and I can understand why. This will be one of the tightest women's pair races that we've seen for a number of years. The Olympic champions from GB in the middle of the course, they're unbeaten since 2012, but they're going to have a real battle with the Kiwis and the Americans just off to their left.
So look at the British out, they're rating very high. You can see over 40 strokes a minute, and the stern of their boat is running relatively flat. That just shows you with what gentleness and precision they place their blades in the water, doing nothing to disturb the run of the boat, and that's really what gives them the speed over all the crews in this event. It's their ability to be flexible in any part of the race.
And we can see the Americans, Elle Logan there in the stroke seat, the dual Olympic gold medalist from the women's 8, turning her hand this 4-year cycle into the smaller boats. We saw her in the single scull earlier in the quadrennium, and now in the pair attempting to take that through to the Rio Olympic Games and see if she can get herself a medal in the boat class as well.
Look at this though, Great Britain, fastest boat on the water by quite a margin. They've strode down to 37, which is on par with the rest of the boats on the water, but making the best of it in terms of boat speed.
So you saw Helen Glover look round there. She's a bit of a looker out the boat on the odd occasion, and I think she maybe sensed the red boys, and they had a call round at the 500 metres because she just said something to Heather Stanning, and she was just checking as to where that 500 metre mark was. Just a little glance of the head, just that spatial awareness on the course.
And they just row so well. For me, they are really the benchmark in terms of pair rowing, and particularly women's pair rowing. They're so strong, and they've looked like this from day one. They're really unflappable in their technique, and they're just so strong. Helen Glover up in the bow seat, Heather Stanning in the stroke seat, and what a class act they've been as they move out on the field now.
I just wonder the impact. 4 of these women are racing in the women's 8s. Of course, the Kiwi women already qualified, and the 2 New Zealanders have qualified that crew, but how much has it taken out of them? They were extremely conservative on their first stroke. They took an ocean of time, really, and they've been left at the back of the field, a bit like the Kiwi men's quad in the B final.
And we can see a great shot there of the British women looking very comfortable, and boy, I don't think they would have expected to have this kind of a lead at this stage in the race. Have they put it out there too early? I don't think so. I think that they've got the pedigree to take this all the way. We've got a great shot there from the drone as we look down onto the course, and we get a really good sense of the distance between each of these boats. The Americans and the Kiwis, they're starting to draw level with one another. But let's talk about this young Kiwi pair, Grace Prendergast, Kerry Gowler. Haven't we been waiting to see them at a World Championship? Last year they were the world champions in the women's four, set the world best time. They absolutely annihilated the under-23 world championship in the women's pair last year with a margin of almost 10 seconds. And here they are in their first open age world championship in the pair.
3:22 through the 1,000 metres in the final of Amsterdam when they did 6:50. They went through last year in 3:23. That is lightning fast pace. Can't believe that.
So we may well see a world record fall today, but in the silver and bronze medal positions, you called it, Sarah, here come New Zealand starting to move up on the USA. They're over a length down on Great Britain, but that battle is certainly on for silver medal here. Look at this, they are nip and tuck for silver medal. If America don't react here, they're going to get rowed through and could well be caught by Denmark, who are also moving up the field. But look at this performance from New Zealand. They are absolutely killing it with rowing through these Americans in this third 500.
Of course, this American pair, you know, they beat Kalmo and Simmons, who were last year's world silver medalists, so they're such an experienced outfit, and the quality of this field behind the British is so high, and Gowler and Prendergast, one of the top percentage boats performing in the New Zealand team. So see Glover making another call to standing. This really is amazing rowing from one of the best crews in the world. There's the race for silver and bronze, and the Kiwis are just pushing ahead of the experienced Americans there.
It is such a performance here in this third 500. We've seen it from the Kiwi crews throughout the tournament. They put in such a solid third 500, and Prendergast and Gowler are just moving up. They're half a length up on the Americans now, coming up towards 500 metres remaining. And if those Americans want a silver medal rather than a bronze, they're going to have to throw something down soon. But the British are so far out in front here and on world record pace.
Well, 5:06 they went through in the final in Amsterdam. 5:07, you can see the same times on the screen. I think in Amsterdam there was a little bit of more of a wind effect in the second half of the course, the second 1,000. It's still going to be an extremely quick time. Probably not world record pace, but I think it's going to be very close to it. One of the quickest times ever posted, and you can see there's no let up. Glover's calling for more effort now. They want distance on those crews behind.
Yeah, they know the Americans and the Kiwis both have good sprints on board. They don't know what to expect. As the Kiwis, they're now the fastest moving boat on the course, and we can see them really starting to move away on the Americans, who are just not able to answer that call. The Kiwis looking to push their stern off the bow of the Americans and get themselves clearly into second place, but no one's going to catch these British women as they come down to 250 metres to go.
That was a great shot. They just went again, didn't they? Through the 250, kick on. That was what Helen Glover said to Heather Standing, and the stroke woman from the Army Boat Club responded.
And the Kiwis have also kicked on. They've gone up to 37 strokes a minute. Fastest boat on the water by a significant margin. They're closing down that lead that GB have as we come in front of the grandstand and the main bulk of supporters on the side of the course. There's a huge amount of USA support trying to cheer them on to get back in for a silver medal position. They're currently in there for bronze, but this GB lead is being eroded quickly by this impressive finish from the Kiwis.
And I think that this would have to be the most satisfying win for these British women. They knew they were going to have a challenge in this race with the calibre of these two boats behind them, but they really haven't been challenged. It shows that they've just got so far to go.
So crossing the line, world champions Great Britain win this 2015 World Championships ahead of New Zealand, who take silver. USA take the bronze medal here in this A final for the women's pairs. And crossing the line in fourth place, we have Denmark. Fifth goes to South Africa. And we will shortly see Canada crossing the line for sixth place. Time across the line there by Olympic and world champions Great Britain, 6:52.99. What a race from them, leading from the outset and all the way to the line. Absolutely delighted. You see the faces there of Heather Standing was on the right, Helen Glover on the left, and New Zealand silver medalists.
Just a word on that time, 6:52.99. We look at percentages relative to the world best time. That was 99.64% of the world's best time, which was 6:50. That was a lightning fast time. It's not so warm here. The lake is quiet. warm relatively. We're quite cold, but conditions, there's not too much wind, and I have to say that was an exceptionally fast race and a brilliant time from the 2015 World Champions.
So they'll be delighted with that. You saw the smiles on their face immediately having crossed the line. We were chatting about this earlier, how no matter how much effort you put in during the race, if you get the outcome that you were so eager for, you always manage to find the energy for a quick smile and a fist pump into the air. So delight there. There it is, the fist pump from Helen Glover and Heather standing delighted with their World Championship win here at the 2015 World Championships in Aigues-Bellette, France. Great finish though. Let's talk about that for a minute from Prendergast and Gowler of New Zealand. We see them on screen here. They just absolutely threw it down in that last 1,000. They were fastest bird on the water for the majority of it, moving up ahead of the United States. What a finish for them. Not quite enough to get themselves in for the gold medal, but they'll be delighted with silver there.
Yeah, they were absolutely delighted, and fantastic second 1,000 metres from the Kiwis. I think they've still got to show pace early on to live with the British, because that speed out in the first quarter really does give the British the flexibility to just dominate the race, and I think the Kiwis will get that pace. The New Zealanders tend to want to row a strong second quarter, but Kerry Gowler is such an amazing athlete, and backed up by Grace Prendergast from Avon. I'm sure next year they're going to come and be even more competitive, but Britain have held off every challenge, and they've every right to be as delighted as that amazing performance from the two best female rowers in the world.
Look at this great shot there as we see the placard for the official results of that A final for the women's pairs. So 6:52.99 for Great Britain. Silver is with New Zealand, and United States take the bronze. Great camera angle we've got here from the drone that's buzzing above the lake near the 1,000.